Yeah.
Yeah.
यार एक और कॉल है मेरी, इस कॉल के बाद करना है यार.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, hi everyone. So welcome to the Data Talk podcast session that we have just tried to get into and got to know about the reason and the kind of importance that data is giving to the entertainment industry. So for that, we have invited Tarun Katial today. Uh, so he's previously worked with Big FM and G5, and we'll just try to get an insight that how data is playing different roles and data is helping in different requirement that is needed during entertainment and media industries. So, without wasting any time, I'd just like to invite Tarun Katial with us, who has joined. Hi, Tarun. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yep. So, thanks for joining in. And just to give you all a brief insight that Tarun is in this industry from 1997 till December to 2020, right? And he has served with different top level media industries in all these sectors. So could you just briefly tell us about your journey till now?
Right now, till then I'm using
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you guys. It's a really exciting afternoon. Apologies for the delay. My journey has been one of a little over 2 decades. I started with uh, being an early stage data person with working for strategic and media planning in advertising agencies after my MBA. Data really excited me, and so one of my key foundations in my life was around numbers. And I remember very early, there was a mentor of mine called Madhusri Ramani, who's now a global advertising leader and a media planning leader, who said, Tarun, numbers must talk to you. And that's the only way you will be able to build a viewpoint on business. And that early conversation stayed with me for many, many years. From being a media planner, I grew on to being a strategic planner and then joined Star TV in its early days in its strategy function. What that did for me was it allowed me to be able to explore data and make impact on content and storytelling. And that one stint in my early days at Star as a strategic planner led me to becoming the head of content, communication, and the head of the network very early in my career. We saw some really good in consumer and consumer data that allowed us to make very good decisions on content and users. And those decisions led to what you see almost the Star Plus of even today. We did KBC at that point in time, brought in Kyunki, brought in various elements of the new kind of storytelling in the daily format that you see today. And those were exciting times. I then moved from being head of channels at Star to heading Sony Entertainment Television, saw the user trends and user data very differently and from a different lens at Sony. Realized that Sony was not what Star was. Sony was a platform that appealed to a much younger demographic and a very different psychographic mindset. We use data to understand where were Star's weaknesses, but more importantly, where were our strengths in the day part schedule. And we started building for a younger audience from the weekends and from a variety genre point of view. That led us to Indian Idol, that led us to Just See, that led us to Khatron Ke Khiladi, that led us to Big Boss, that led us to Fame Gurukul and many other shows. And we were the darling of a completely new, younger demographic, which continues to be Sony's primary audience even today. After having worked at Sony, I then got an opportunity to become the founder, CEO of Big FM. That allowed me to be able to understand users in 60 cities in this country at a very deep level, and to be able to build formats that were very different from what the competitive radio stations or what users had just heard. We built a retro radio station called Hitte Hit Rahenge. We realized that music was not the only differentiator, and so we were the first people to do a storytelling format. And Nilesh Mishra was born on our platform with Yado Ke Idiot Box, because we knew that retention and repeat listening was what was going to get us through. And so many new things happened, many firsts happened, many differentiated things happened across the country, in the length and breadth of the country. And it did exceedingly well for me as well as for the company. And my last stint, which is right up to the end of last year, was building ZEE5 to what it was. It was an exciting platform. It did exceedingly well for me in terms of my learning curve. Digital gives you a serious amount of data points, and it allows you to build a business based on real-time platform performance, based on real-time content engagement, and some of these allow you to optimize very, very quickly on the basis of what you see in people's performance. So that's a little bit of who I am. I think I took longer than you would have wanted to, but yeah.
No, that's a great, I think, brief information that you have gone through. And I think that's a 20 years long journey you have summarized us to 5 or 6 minutes. So that will be a great knowledge for us, because we are just going further. One more question before starting, I really want to ask you. We have heard that you are getting connected with MICA for Advanced Digital Transformed Program. So if you want to put a light on it.
So yeah, interesting question. MICA came to me about a year ago, saying that they wanted to run something in a transformational space in digital. We realized that they want any program in India, and there were only a couple of programs globally in digital transformation which were meaningful. There's one at Columbia and one at Kellogg's. And we saw the opportunity and those are very expensive. I myself have graduated from Kellogg's on the digital transformation program. It's a 1-year program, and it's an excellent program, but it's not, to be honest, it's not in everybody's reach to do that program, right? It's fairly expensive, and it has a lot of layers of acceptance at the university. But we had the opportunity to be able to build a program that would allow users in India to be able to learn different facets of digital transformation. Those are very, very interesting facets like data, facets like digital marketing and the role of MarTech and automation, the role of personalization, things like technology and very advanced technologies like blockchain and use of blockchain in marketing and in digital advertising, and areas like building up your own data infrastructure to be able to do customer loyalty through automation. So these are aspects that are not available in regular programs, and there is definitely not a program which can spend a considerable amount of time helping you be a digital first executive in your company or in your area of work. You must realize that it is very tough for traditional executives to continue growing and progressing in a very data first, digital first world that has come about, and even more so post COVID. And every company needs to reach out to its users exceedingly well through digital. And if you want to grow your career, then it's critical for you to be digital first.
Right, right.
The other
So
big
yeah, I
thing,
think
the other big thing we did, Akash, on this program was that we
right.
decided that the program should be only taught by professionals and not by
Okay.
faculty, and that allowed us uh, the strength of getting people from Google, from Flipkart, from eBay, from Nielsen, from all across to come and participate, and even globally to come and participate in this learning process and in this learning pedagogy, which is very, very different from what you classically see.
Right. So I think that's a great initiative as per current scenario. I think Mica is also in this Mica taking seriously to the media industry. I think they have recently taken research on how the recent Indian series got the topmost activity or topmost achievement till now. I think if you know the series name, I think I'll be forgetting. So, Sangeet, did you remember the name? Uh,
No worries, let's go
okay,
forward.
not an issue. So, yeah, let's move on to the forward sections. Sangeet, let's move on to the next slide. Next. But more, yeah. So yeah, I think you have given a brief idea about how you have started. Okay, after completing from Kellogg's till the time. Okay, but I just want to put to or get to know about why you have chosen entertainment domain. Okay, because you are in that domain and you have maintained that domain strategy for a longer time. If you want to put a light on it.
I do believe that entertainment, and especially storytelling and
Right,
content, has a great connection with users to be able to
right,
impact their lives and their minds, and to be able to get people to shift and change mindsets. If you can make an impact on people and their mindsets, you're making an impact on them for the long term. And that's really what I want to do, is to be able to help people build and shape their thinking.
okay. Okay, great. I think so. That's a great understanding as per my thought. Let's move on to the next question, Sangeet. How you think entertainment consumer market value changes post introduction of OTT platform, because it's in the boom right now.
So I think the entertainment consumer market value has changed dramatically after OTT. The consumer now has a fair amount of not only content choice, but control of
Right.
uh, both in terms of consuming content on demand,
Okay.
as how much and as little as they want to be able to make choices between paying for it on you or watching it with advertising, in being able to
Right.
consume long form and short form of the same kind of content, to be able to choose devices and the way and how they want to consume. And so the entire market value for the consumer has changed. It's a consumer-centric platform rather than a product-centric approach. Broadcasters,
Right.
unfortunately, through the technology, could not deliver the consumer-centric approach, but video on demand, streaming, is really,
Right.
the power is in the hand of the consumer.
Okay, so you mean to say the major power that will be mostly previously maintained by the media industry is a bit provided to the consumers by the use of OTT platform, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So I think that's a great insight that we are getting. Next question, I just wanna get your views on. What advice you wanna give for freshers who wanna choose entertainment industry as a professional career in
So
reference
I
to
there are
data, right?
there are 4 or 5 areas um, that you can choose in the entertainment business within data. The most exciting of them all is if you want to do stuff around AI and ML, and there are a lot of AI ML use cases, whether it is building recommendation engines, whether they're building conversational chatbots, whether it's about building taste clusters, whether it's about building dynamic pricing models. There is a lot of work that AI can do, including helping in the creative process for. And I'm going to just uh, be launching another product which is for MediaTek on AI. It's an AI-driven creator tool that allows writers to write through um, using a storybot, which allows them a huge amount of insight around content and the kind of stories that are available. So there is a lot of work that you can do in AI. Then the other part of the work that is very exciting is around content analytics. There is very rich data that is available around content and content analytics, on content consumption, both in terms of the volume, the type of content, uh, the scrubbing habits, the taste clusters, the adjacencies, which define personas, which define really a content commissioning strategy or a content acquisition strategy for any platform. So content analytics is a great place to be in. There is marketing analytics around customer acquisition, around customer retention, around customer engagement, around lifecycle management. So marketing analytics is another space, and that's evolving extremely well with a lot of CDP involvement and a lot of real-time tools that are being used. So that's around MarTech. Then there is stuff around product and product strategy, product analytics, and understanding user journeys, user flows, understanding user friction, understanding how do you make users go through multiple use cases, um, and to be able to build their width of consumption, their depth of consumption. Those are the kind of ideas that product strategy could do for you. So
Okay.
there is product, there is marketing, there is content, there is AI. These are the few areas that are extremely rich in data and can allow for a lot of great insights that can impact the business within the entertainment industry.
Great. So I think we'll got an idea. So AI is enabling a lot of content or a lot of quality within media industry, I think, and it will grow in the upcoming time as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's move on to the next part that you want to share with you. What is the capability you see in the current cohort of entertainment in the business expert you mostly meet with? Do they leverage enough the data side, or it's still under growing phase?
Everything is undergoing phase in life. So
Okay.
that's the first fundamental, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's reached nirvana. But I think on both on all kinds of video streaming, short form, long form, the level of analytics that's now getting used, at least on marketing analytics, on recommendation engines, and a fair amount on content analytics, even though that's most descriptive in nature, is now, I wouldn't put it early stage, I wouldn't put it mature stage, but I think it's reaching a level which is significant to create impact, but not significant to ensure that every decision that is made through data. That is because also some amount of legacy in the entertainment business where creative ideas are seemingly primary to the growth of the business, where people do believe that they don't really need data to be driving their discussions. So it's a combination of many things, but I would think that data is still significantly used in the industry.
Okay, great. So, yeah, we'll got a bit of idea about it. The kind of actually what we really think that with the introduction of 5G, there may be a great change in how user is looking towards entertainment. So because the lot of speed, quality, and there is a VR introduction. So I think I'll be just trying to understand that it will really change in the media industry, and let's see how it will be impacting. As you have said that we all are learning with the AI, with the data science and other aspects in the growing phase. So I think it's really interesting to see their impact and how it will be leveraging and helping media industry and entertainment industry as well. I'll just put the next question with you. You have worked with Star TV Network, Sony Picture Entertainment, and founded firms like BFM and G5. And we all know that you are part of the media industry from 1997. Uh, as per your, as per you, what are the different phases that the industry have gone with, and what do you think most likely the upcoming phases are?
So I think short video will be the upcoming phase of this industry, and most importantly within that, the creator ecosystem and creator ecosystems going pay themselves at a P2P, at a peer-to-peer monetization ecosystem is going to be real and is going to be very, very different. We are seeing these models already evolve on YouTube, on Patreon. So I think self-creation, creators who are going professional, creators who are going behind the paywall, creators who are an amalgamation of both short video and long video are now the reality, and this is going to be the future of this business.
Okay. So I think we have recently seen that there are a lot of funding has gone for the short video content creators and the applications. So I think you're right. People are really interested currently to understand or get used to the short content that will be created and which will give them quality. Uh, okay, thanks for bringing that insight. Now let's move to the next question. Yep. So in terms of data in the entertainment sector, as we can see, there is a thought process that data can give you insight about what is the most engaging content now. But while creating new content, there must be some freshness and innovation, as you have talked about, right? To attract current and new customers. So, what do you see in the terms of data in a given idea or a script that mostly help you to make a decision or go ahead with it with a positive or negative approach?
Interesting, Akash. I'm launching a platform, like I told you, next week, which is called Serendipity, which allows for you to be able to understand data in creative writing very, very differently. It allows for writers to be able to get inspired by a storyboard, but not only that, to be able to pick stories that are relevant at a score level, that are unique, that are viral. So we are able to give you the stories different scores even before you start getting inspired and writing from them. And then we are able to build what we call the serendipity score for your own story on the basis of the topic and the subject you've chosen, the kind of characters and that you built, also on the basis of what you've written and what have you got feedback from Shumiliers, because we've got a Shumiliers network on that platform. So all of that as a combination gives you a serendipity score, which is really where freshness and innovation can come into story writing. And it's an interesting AI-based platform that I'd be happy to showcase to everybody in a week to 10 days.
Okay. Okay, great. So I think it's already developed. You are just finding all the things to bring it to the public, right? Okay, so next, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Sangeet. Sangeet, can you hear us? Just
So I have the next question. Should I go? Akash?
please. Yeah, please.
The next
So I think
question.
we'll got in the screen as well.
No worries. It's about the automation, right? And the amount of
Right.
automation that's happened in the business, and what do you think is really left to be automated? I think there is a lot of automation that we can do on the production end. There are some good products that have come out for automating our creative process. I think that can definitely get better automated, better optimized, both in terms of resource utilization and cost optimization, and to be able to draw insights out of the production process, and to be able to make timely delivery. Then the creative process can definitely bring in more AI, ML, and better workflow management. So yeah, so that's the other thing I just spoke to you about. That's great, and that must happen. The curation of the platform, both in terms of recommendation, which is good and which is starting to happen more and more, but planogramming for things that can be curated and not just recommended, that definitely needs a certain amount of planogramming intervention. And in some entertainment companies, you still need to develop an appreciation of MarTech through CDPs, which is the other thing that I think is going to change quite rapidly.
Okay, great. So yeah, I think I've got a bit idea about how this is impacting right now. Now, really want your views. I think this is a very critical thought that we have. Okay, and we want to understand it. As per the current scenario, or as per the scenario you have seen, what are the loopholes you still see in the current time, and you think must be addressed to improve entertainment facilitations and quality service?
I think broadband penetration can definitely better in the country, can be much more stable, so that the viewing experience can be much better. There is good viewing analytics that we get, and we see that CDN performance and buffering and rebuffering is still of a very high level in the country today. And I think that could definitely change the way people move from linear to video on demand in the next few years. So that is the one big gap that we must fill. The other thing is, I think, diversity of use cases and diversity of audiences. Currently, the video on demand is very, very limited to video on demand is very, very limited to very male kind of platforms. I think it's important that there is a fair amount of content that is diverse on these platforms, and that is, should and will change if you're going to replace television in this country. So for me, I think the 2 or 3 key areas that the entertainment industry as a whole will benefit from would be better quality broadband penetration, better video analytics, and better video streaming and quality from that broadband penetration. I do clearly think that the advantages of data in the creative process could change the way diversity comes into content, and if we want to really replace television, then we've got to identify and understand the user needs of a wide spectrum of audience rather than the very limited set of audience that we currently are catering to.
Great. So yeah, I think one thing that you have clearly mentioned, and that will be a great insight, that the quality of service across India is not uniform. There is a variation, and that will be an impactful. So it need to be addressed in a very good way to enhance the entertainment understanding. Okay, Sangeet, let's
Akash,
move on to the next.
Akash, I'm going to jump the next question because there isn't much in that, but I'm going to take some questions from the chat, and I'm going to do question 10 because time's really running out. So I want to do some stuff that people are asking. I think Aparna's got a very good question on what would you say are the key challenges in driving adoption of data science and AI in the creative field like media and entertainment. Aparna, there are 2-3 good challenges, and it's a very good question. There are 2 or 3 challenges. One, creative people think that they ultimately know what the user wants. And so very few creative people want to rely on data to be able to develop their scripts or their concepts or their thoughts. And so the appreciation and understanding of data in an extremely easy and lucid manner is critical for more adoption by creative people in this business. And also having enough data points that are relevant and are insightful for them to be able to deploy in their storytelling. I think our product Serendipity is trying to do just that. It's trying to break the barriers between creatives and the data sciences fraternity, because we believe if they can come together to be able to deploy what users could look for, and not are looking for, but could look for with what they are creating, it could be a lethal combination. And that also is my 10th, was my next question, Akash, which was about what do you think the kind of improvements in AI and ML and data science will bring in the entertainment sector? I think it's in the creation process and it's in the curation process where AI could definitely help better. Then there are other things which are more transactional, like pricing or pricing per content, peer-to-peer pricing, a fair amount of blockchain that can come into minting music, minting videos, and to be able to understand copyright ownership. So those are other things that will come in from blockchain, and I think that's also increasingly starting to happen.
Okay, I think Sangeet, can we move on to the next question? Yeah. So yeah, you have the 9th one, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, one more, I think we just want your view on what are the reforms you think still needed from the government to flourish entertainment industry?
I didn't want to answer this question because my belief is that governments don't build businesses. It is creative minds. It is data professionals like you who build businesses. So to rely on government to build business is not going to be too much. And I don't have a very strong view on getting regulation or legislative intervention into building businesses.
Okay.
I think the issues of copyright and things like that will get resolved by using things like better DRMs, better NFT. It's a technology to solve the problems rather than going and expecting governments to solve problems. I think your last question is very interesting on what you think of data science capabilities in 5 to 10 years ahead. How will it form the entertainment business? I genuinely think that at the predictive nature of data science, the ability to be able to bring forth millions and millions of creators who can monetize their own content, right? Through better discovery, better recommendation, better planogramming will be the key. It won't be a world which will be built on commissioned content or on curated content, but it will be a world which will be built on creator content, which will be driven by the creator's capability to draw his own revenue, his own monetization, and his own advertising. It will be a free democratic content world.
Okay, so I think that we'll got an idea about how you mean to say that from media industry to the creators who are working with it,
That is true.
gonna leverage that kind of quality or that kind of capability. Right.
Yeah.
So I think these are something that we really want to know or understand your views on. Okay, and I think we're really thankful for you, Tarun, to join with us and let us know your views and help us with the content. We basically building a data science community where we try to give our community member and other people insight that how data will be helping them in different kind of aspects and different kind of capability towards different industrial sectors. So this is approach to interact with industry leaders and experts and know their views on, and to understand how we as a data engineer, data scientist, data analyst prepare ourselves so that we can give the best services from our side in the market. So I think that's all from our side. And I think there may be any guest question. If I have, I'll just go ahead with it. I just want to take one guest question if you want. Someone from AC.
Would you mind sharing a bit on your new venture and your launching? Will it focus on serving the lowest common denominator? Yes, it will focus on bringing a fair amount of volume of writers into the ecosystem. It is built for giving power to an average person who's not an accomplished professional writer, but has the ambition and the drive to write, right? And an amateur, for him to be able to get inspired by different kind of stories and to be able to have enough ratification and feedback to be able to write better. So it's a platform that will help broaden the fun of writers in the entire creative ecosystem. Shanti, yes, the media sector is moving to cloud adoption on the linear side. On the OTT side and the video streaming side, most of it is anyway on the cloud. But it is the linear side which needs to move to cloud and not on-prem kind of data centers that they work on. And I think that adoption has gotten accelerated in most companies post-COVID. Right. Thank you, Akash. That was a good session, and I'm happy to have spent some time with you guys. Sorry for the delay, but all the very best. Stay safe. These are trying times, but most people who are data and digitally inclined will see a fair amount of transition in their roles, jobs, and in the industries they work in. So all the very best and take care, guys.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Thank
you. Bye. So thanks for joining in, guys, and be with us for this event. And we really want to raise a sorry with all that you have to wait initially for, I think, 10 and 20 minutes, just because we didn't get to know the connect that we are just trying to build. But instead, we are a part of a data science community. And if you want to join with us and understand and leverage the kind of quality that data provides. So we have almost around 150 plus members who are in this data science industry from the last 15 to the recent years. So I'll just put you the link that if you want to join or get into the community to get an insight or get an idea about how data or what kind of support the data is providing to different organizational sectors. So the link is in the description. Even I'll just mail you all. And I'm really thankful that you have joined back, okay, after a long I think, break that we have gone through. And yeah, so take care, guys, and have a good day. Thanks.